ॐ ज्ञानतिमिरन्धस्य ज्ञानञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मिलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरुवे नमः। नमो विष्णुपादाय कृष्णपृष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदान्तस्वामिन्निति नामिने। नमस्ते सारस्वती देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेषशून्यवादी पाश्चात्यदेशतारिणे। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्तवृंद। हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे। भूतैर्महद्भिर्यमा पुरो विभु निर्मायश्येते यदमुषु पूरुष भूते गुणान् षोडश षोडशात्मक सोऽलङ्कृशिष्ट भगवान् वचांसि मे। श्रीकृष्ण शरणं शरणागतं कथामृतं सततपेवतं भक्तिवेदान्तमार्गपन्थनं सर्वलोकऋषिदेव जन्मप्रसन्नं सर्वलोकऋषिदेव जन्मप्रसन्नं। Hare Krishna, dear Prabhus and Matajis. So we'll begin with the Srīmad Bhāgavatam session for today. We are on first canto, chapter 8, titled Praise by King Kuntī and Parīkṣit saved. And yesterday we just concluded text number 5. However, I did realize that there were many devotees who had, realizations or pertinent points they had from the Grace Devaki Mataji's class, and they would like to share it. So I'd like to open the, forum for any devotees who would like to share the points from Devaki Mataji's class that really struck them and had an impact on them. Any devotees? Okay, so we'll continue with text number 6. Narayanam namaskritya naram chaiva narottamam devim saraswatim vyasam tato jayam mudirayet. Om namo bhagavate vasudevaya. Om namo bhagavate vasudevaya. Om namo bhagavate vasudevaya. याजयित् वास्मद्मेधैस्तं त्रिभिरुत्तमकल्पकैः यद्यशः पावनं देषु शतमन्योरिवातनोत्. Translation: Lord Shri Krishna caused 3 well-performed Ashwamedha yagnas, horse sacrifices, to be conducted by Maharaj Yudhishthira, and thus caused his virtuous fame to be glorified in all directions, like that of Indra, who had performed 100 such sacrifices. Would anyone like to read the purport?
Can I try, Prabhu? Hare
Yes,
Krishna.
please go ahead.
The purport. And this is something like the preface to the performance of Ashvamedha Yajna by Maharaj Yudhishthira. The comparison of Maharaj Yudhishthira to the King of Heaven is significant. The King of Heaven is thousands and thousands of times greater than Maharaj Yudhishthira in opulence. Yet the fame of Maharaj Yudhishthira was not less. The reason is that Maharaj Yudhishthira was a pure devotee of the Lord, and by his grace only was King Yudhishthira of the level of the King of Heaven. Even though he performed only 3 yajnas, whereas the King of Heaven performed hundreds. That is the prerogative of the devotee of the Lord. The Lord is equal to everyone, but a devotee of the Lord is more glorified because he always in touch with the all great. The sun rays are equally distributed, but still there are some places which are always dark. This is not due to the sun, but to the receptive power. Similarly, those who are sent percent devotees of the Lord get the full-fledged mercy of the Lord, which is always equally distributed everywhere. Hare Krishna.
Thank you so much, Mataji. So let's look at word to word of this nice phrase. Ya ja yatva. By performing Ashwamedehi, yagna, in which a horse is sacrificed, tam, him, King Yudhishthira. Trivihi, three, uttama, best, kalpakaihi, supplied with proper ingredients and performed by able priests. Tat, that, yashaha, fame, pavanam, virtuous, dikshu, all directions, shatamanyoho, Indra, who performed 100 such sacrifices, eva, like Atanot, spread. So it is quite astonishing here that although King Yudhishthira, inspired by Krishna, and Krishna made all the arrangements for these yajna for Yudhishthira Maharaj, he performed three, but those three yajnas are compared as equal to the hundreds same yajna, Shatamanyoho. One of Indra's name is Shatamanyoho because one who performs Shata means 100 and sacrifices. So 100 Ashwamedha sacrifices. So it is said anyone who performs 100 Ashwamedha sacrifices can get the position of Indra. Therefore, when one reaches 99, Indra becomes very insecure that his position will be taken away. However, a pure devotee of the Lord, such as Maharaj Yudhishthira, he does not have any desire for sovereignty. Even when Yudhishthira Maharaj performed the Rajasu Yagna, the only purpose Yudhishthira Maharaj wanted to perform the Rajasu Yagna, because in Rajasu Yagna there is a ceremony where Agra Puja is held. Agra Puja means the first worship. So a personality present in the assembly who is regarded as the best of all personalities, he is given due worship. And Yudhishthira Maharaj wanted to declare to the whole world that that best personality is the supreme personality of Godhead, Sri Krishna, Purushottama. And to spread the glory of Krishna far and wide, Yudhishthira Maharaj wanted to perform the Rasu Yagna. And here, Krishna wants to spread the glory of his pure devotee, Yudhishthira Maharaj. And just by performance of three Ashwamedha Yagnas, he made Yudhishthira Maharaj's fame much equal to the fame of Indra. Actually, we see in the paper that Srila Prabhupada says that the fame of Maharaj Yudhishthira was no less than the fame of Indra. Our Guru Maharaj used to comment that there is a difference between riches and opulence. Riches people may have. A person may be rich, but opulent is something different. Opulent is actually Krishna's blessings. So, for example, Srila Prabhupada is opulent. Why? Because 24 hours a day, his worship is going along in this Bhumandal. In each of the latitude, we have an ISKCON center or a temple or devotees present who would be performing Mangala Arati at 4:30. Samsaradava Nadalidhaloka Tranaya Karunya Ganaganatmam. And in this way, glorifying Srila Prabhupada. Who is there such a person in this world, whether it be a politician or anyone else for that matter, who is glorified 24 hours a day? Therefore, a devotee's fame spreads far and wide, even when he has personally or she has personally unmanifested their pastimes in this Bhumandal, in this earth. Therefore, only a devotee is glorious, and the glory of Maharaj Yudhishthira, Krishna here is spreading. Krishna wants to spread the glories of his devotees. Any questions or comments, Prabhus, Matajis?
Hare Krishna, Prabhu. Just on this horse sacrifice, what are the different types of yagnas, Prabhus? And this seems to be a very auspicious one, isn't it?
Well, in Kali Yuga, the only sacrifice that is effective, it is said, Naam Samkirtan Yagna, or Samkirtan Yagna. In Srīmad Bhāgavatam, it is said, Krishna Varnam Tushat Krishnam, Sango Parshadam, Sangha Astra Parshadam, Yagna Sankirtanam Prare, Jajanti Sumedasa. That Sumedasa means intelligent persons in Kali Yuga will perform the Samkirtan Yagna and worship that Supreme Personality of Godhead, who is Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, none other than Krishna. So there are, yes, many types of yagnas. And in all the yagnas, the object for satisfaction is Vishnu. Yagna vai Vishnu, it is mentioned. However, although there may be many types of yagnas, but Nam Samkirtana, chanting of the holy names, is the prime one. In Bhagavad Gita also Krishna says, Yagna Nam Japa Yagnosmi. Of all the yagnas, Yagna Nam Japa Yagnosmi, I am the chanting of my holy names, the holy names. And other yagnas, they have various faults in them. In 8th canto of Srīmad Bhāgavatam, there is a nice shloka said by Shukracharya, and he says, Mantratas Tantratas Chidram, that there may be fault while doing all these yagnas, there may be fault in reciting the mantras. Tantra, in following the rules and regulations. Chidram means false. Deshakal Argavastubihi, there may be fault in the place, may not be pure. Kala, the time may not be proper, not according to Murat. Vastubihi, the paraphernalia may not be correct. And Arga means that the person performing the yagna and the person for whom the yagna is being performed, their motive may not be correct. So, we see many instances, some people perform yagna, but their motive is to get something to cause harm to other people. However, it is said that sarvam karoti nishchidram, all faults become faultless, anusamkirtanam tava, when, O Supreme Lord, when your Sankirtan is there. So without Sankirtan Yagna, no other Yagna is complete. Thank you, Prabhuji. So anyone would like to read text number 7? Sanskrit.
I can read, Prabhu.
Yes, Mataji.
Amantrya Panduputramscha Shaneyotva Samyutaha Dvaipayande Birvipre Pujite Pujite.
Translation is well, Mataji.
Sure. Translation. Lord Sri Krishna then prepared for his departure. He invited the sons of Pandu after having been worshipped by the Brahmanas, headed by Srila Vyasadeva. The Lord also reciprocated greetings.
And the paper is well, Mataji.
Purport by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada. Apparently, Lord Sri Krishna was a Kshatriya and was not worshipable by the Brahmanas. But the Brahmanas present there, headed by Srila Vyasadeva, all knew him to be the personality of Godhead, and therefore they worshipped him. The Lord reciprocated the greetings just to honor the social order that a Kshatriya is obedient to the orders of the Brahmanas. Although Lord Sri Krishna was always offered the respects due, the Supreme Lord from all responsible quarters. The Lord never deviated from the customary usages between the four orders of society. The Lord purposely observed all these social customs so that others would follow him in the future.
Thank you so much, Mataji. So even Krishna is beyond the four Varnashrama systems. He still followed the etiquettes of the four systems. But nonetheless, the Brahmanas could not have but offer due respects to Krishna because they knew that Krishna is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So when we look at the word to word, amantriya, inviting, amantran karna, Panduputran, all the sons of Pandu, cha, also Saineya, Satyaki, Uddhava, Samyuktaha, accompanied Dvaipayana Adibihi by the rishis like Vedavyasa, Viprahi by the Brahmanas. So in this assembly, Vyasadeva and other great exalted rishis, the sages, and Viprahi, the Brahmanas were present. Pujitahi, being worshipped, Pratipujitaha, the Lord also reciprocated equally. So everyone, Pujitahi, worshipped the Lord. And Pratipujitaha, the Lord also reciprocated equally. So this is the important point to understand. Pujitehi Pratipujitaha. The Lord never fails to reciprocate to those who worship him. So if we worship the Lord will also not fail to reciprocate that worship, and accordingly, he will instill in our hearts affection and feeling for him. One of the words, I really like it, it is mentioned in Bhāgavatam, Priti Ahavan. Lord Krishna invokes Priti, affection for him in our hearts. We simply have to just approach him. Pujitehi pratipujitaha. Any questions or comments, Prabhus, Matajis? We'll go to text number 8. Gantu kritamatir brahman dvarakam ratam astitaha upalebhe vidha vantim uttaram bhaya vivalam. Translation. As soon as he seated himself on the chariot to start for Dwaraka, he saw Uttara hurrying toward him in fear. Would anyone like to read the paper?
I can read, Prabhu.
Yes, please, go ahead.
All the members of the family of the Pandavas were completely dependent on the protection of the Lord, and therefore the Lord protected all of them in all circumstances. The Lord protects everyone, but one who depends completely upon him is especially looked after by the Lord. The father is more attentive to the little son, who is exclusively dependent on the father. Hare Krishna.
Thank you so much, Prabhuji. So, Avashya Rakshebe Krishna Vishvasha Palana, this is the basic principle of the reason why only Krishna's shelter is to be taken. There is a very nice verse in Mukundmala Stotra. King Kulshekar says, Krishnu Rakshatu no Jagatraya Guru. That Krishna protects everyone because he is the Jagat Guru of all the three worlds. And therefore, Krishnam Namadhvam Sada. We should always bow down to Krishna in due respects. Krishnena khil shatravo vinihata. Krishnaya tasmai namaha. Krishnena akhila shatravo. Krishna destroys vinihata, destroys akhila shatravo, all enemies. Enemies outside and enemies inside. The greatest enemies actually are inside our own mind, our own desires. And therefore, Krishnaya tasmai namaha. We bow down to Krishna again and again. Krishna deva samuttitam jagadidam Krishnasya dasosmyaham. It is only Krishna, due to him, the whole of the universe comes into existence. And therefore, I am Krishna's servant. Krishnasya dasosmyaham. This is our constitutional position. And this is how we should submit ourselves to the Lord and act as his servant. Krishnena tishtati vishvametadakilam. He Krishna rakshasva mam. So Krishna is tishtati. Krishna is situated throughout the universe. He is in his Paramatma form or Vishnu form, sarvatra sarvada, every time, at all where. Therefore, one of his name is Vasudeva, whose Vas is everywhere. And therefore, Hey Krishna Rakshasvamam, we should all seek protection from Krishna, especially protection that Krishna, please protect our consciousness, that we always remember you and we do not deviate from the devotional service. So in this verse, when we look at the word to word, we see Gantum, just desiring to start. So Krishna is about to leave for Dwarka. Krita Matihi, having decided, Brahman, O Brahmana, Dwarakam, towards Dwaraka, Ratham, onto the chariot. So Krishna is just about to climb onto the chariot. Asthitaha, seated. And he's about to be seated. Upalebhe, he saw Abhi Dhavantim, coming hurriedly. Uttaram, Uttara, Bhaya Valam, being afraid. So in this world, everyone is Bhaya Valam. We see the basic principle of human existence, or all living entities, is Ahar, Nidra, Bhaya, Matin. We are all consumed by Bhaya, fear, as one of the aspects of survival. And in our pursuit for survival, we are constantly trying to fight against this fear of that someone may take away our existence and may defeat us in very sphere of life, and especially when life is in danger. So Uttara, we know, she was the wife of Abhimanyu, who had died in the battlefield. Uttara is the daughter-in-law of Arjuna. And let's see why she is hurriedly running towards Krishna in fear. Uttara Vacha Pahi Pahi Mahayogin Devadeva Jagatpate Nanyam Tvadabhayam Pashye Yatra Mrityu Parasparam. Would anyone like to read the translation and the purport?
Hare Krishna Prabhu, I'll read.
Yes, Mataji.
Translation. Uttara said, O Lord of Lords, Lord of the universe, you are the greatest of mystics. Please protect me, for there is no one else who can save me from the clutches of death in this world of duality. Purport. This material world is the world of duality, in contrast with the oneness of the absolute realm. The world of duality is composed of matter and spirit, whereas the absolute world is complete spirit without any tinge of the material qualities. In the dual world, everyone is falsely trying to become the master of the world, whereas in the absolute world, the Lord is the absolute Lord, and all others are his absolute servitors. In the world of duality, everyone is envious of all others, and death is inevitable due to the dual existence of matter and spirit. The Lord is the only shelter of fearlessness for the surrendered soul. One cannot save himself from the cruel hands of death in the material world without having surrendered himself at the lotus feet of the Lord. Hare Krishna.
Thank you so much, Mataji. So in the last line, we see the Lord is the only shelter of fearlessness. He is Sarva Abhaya Pradaha. Bhaya means fear, Abhaya means fearlessness, and Pradaha means one who gives fearlessness. So Krishna is Sarva Abhaya Pradaha for all the surrendered souls. One cannot save himself from the cruel hands of death in the material world without having surrendered himself at the lotus feet of the Lord. We all have to die. Then what is this thing about saving ourselves from death? The reality is that actually a devotee does not die. The devotee leaves the body and gains victory over death, not to be born again to die. So in actual fact, the devotee only lives. And when he takes shelter into Krishna, he becomes fearless in this regard, in the matter of death. And he actually waits for the right time, that when he'll be united with his Lord again, as we see in that famous verse of 1:626, where Narad Muni says, Kalam pratiksham vimado vimatsara. Narad Muni was actually waiting for that time when he could leave the body. That means he had already taken shelter of Krishna. He was aligned in his desires, that his desires was what Krishna desired for him. He was chanting the holy names of the Lord without any care for the social formalities of society. He was constantly remembering Krishna's pastimes, and he, in this way, was traveling all around the world. Gam Paryatams. He was satisfied in mind, Tushtamana, Gataspruha. He was free from material desires, and so he can only wait for the time to pass over the so-called death to get permanent entrance into the spiritual abode of the Lord. Envious persons, as Prabhupada says in the purport, they actually cannot take shelter of Krishna. This is a wonderful verse. If we can memorize it, it will be very nice. Pahi pahi mahayogin. So in word to word, we see Uttara Uvacha. Uttara said. So Uttara came hurriedly towards Krishna, and she was very fearful. And she straight away took shelter into Krishna, praying, Pahi, Pahi, protect, protect. Mahayogin, the greatest mystic. Yogin means one who is mystic. Mystic means we don't know how he works. Sometimes when Christians are able to explain how God works, then they say, oh, the Lord works in a mystical ways. And actually that is true. No one can understand how Krishna can do things, but the thing is, he can do things. Vallabhacharya says, Sarva Samartha Sahitaha, that Krishna is all Samartha. Samartha means he's all able. Sarvatma Akhilartha Krit. But the beauty of his all ability is that Sarvatma, for all the living souls, Akhil Arthakrit, he wants to use his great mysticism for their benefit. Sarvatma Akhil Arthakrit. However, the condition is what? Sharanyam eva samudharam. The living entities need to take shelter onto him. How here Uttara is taking shelter of Krishna. Krishnam eva gatir mama. Let Krishna certainly be my gatir, my destination. This is what Uttara, Vallabhacharya says. Let Krishna be my gatir. Let Krishna be my worshipable Lord. Word to word again, Deva Deva, the worshipable of the worshipped. So Krishna is even the worshipable lords of all so-called demigods and all so-called lords. He is Deva Deva. Very nicely in his Gita Govindam, Jayadeva Goswami says, Jaya Jaya Deva Hare, or Lord who even gains victory over demigods. All glories unto you. Various nice stanzas he sings in praise of Lord Krishna. Krishna here addressed as Jagatpate, O Lord of the universe. And then she goes on to say, Na anyam, not anyam, anyone else, what, than you. Apart from you, no one else. Abhayam, fearlessness, pashye, do I see. So I don't see anyone else apart from you who can give abhayam, fearlessness. Yatra, where there is mrityuhu, death, parasparam, in the world of duality. So this world is full of duality. There is birth, there is death, there is disease, there is honor, there is dishonor, and so on. And in this world of duality, the symptom is that one is always suffering. And the greatest fear is about mrityuhu, the fear of death, parasparam. In the world of duality, the fear of death is the greatest. And na anyam, no one else apart from Krishna can give us abhayam, fearlessness. Therefore, Krishna is the only personality unto whom we should surrender. And by her personal example, Uttara is showing us this. Pahi pahi mahayogin, deva deva jagatpate, nanyam tad abhayam pashye, yatra mrityu parasparam. Hare Krishna. Thank you so much, Prabhu and Matajis. We have reached and just gone over time. So we'll continue the session tomorrow. Please, throughout the day, if you can recite this verse, meditate on this verse, memorize this verse, and most importantly, try to live by this verse, because Krishna is the only source of fearlessness. Na anyad abhyam pashye mrityu yatra mrityu parasparam. Jai. Granthra Srīmad Bhāgavatam ki Jai. Srila Prabhupada ki Jai. A wonderful Krishna conscious day. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu.
Thank you.
Thank you, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
One.